Can you tell us a little bit about being a CEO and how you got into construction?
I actually started working for my dad when I was 14 years old. He would bring me to job sites. He owned a construction company, and I actually ran drywall crews at a defense plant. Snuck in there, wasn't supposed to be there, but I was in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then just graduated. I continued to move forward, and I ran the demo crews, ran the drywall crews. Then eventually, I ascended pretty rapidly. Then I started running projects. Next thing you know, I'm running the company, and he and I had a big downfall, and I had to make a hard decision. It was all family matters in a divorce, and that's tough to deal with. But some of the decisions I had to make were decisions of the heart, and you have to kind of follow your heart. And that meant we had to split. And whenever we split, kind of gobbled up by another contractor, and I worked for them for about 5 or 6 years. Rapidly became second in charge and ran all their work, and realized that I'd already had the taste of doing it on my own with my dad. And so then I hopped in and I did it on my own. And, it's all about relationships. Everything that you do in business is going to be successful is going to be about a relationship. It's going to be about not what happens today, but what happens 10 years from now. And it's that relationship, and it's that life. I kind of call it life. It's the life you live with these people, because again, I think a lot of times you look at work and you're like, oh yeah, I've got to go do this job and this and that. Look, we're at work really as much or more than we are with the people that we love, our wives and kids and all this kind of stuff. So to have good relationships and continuing relationships are very important to me. And that's where I think we've founded everything that we've done here at Imperial and Impower. And that's where we'll continue to go. And it's been a successful process. We have a lot of really, really, really great clients, and they're friends. And in a lot of cases, they're family.
So do you think that good relationships is a major key factor in the success of your business?
I think some people, they're maybe structured a little bit different, but the type of work that Imperial does and the type of work that Empower does, we really target corporations and long-term clients that we can turn around and they learn us, we learn them. It makes things wonderful. It's like we can actually think of things that help them before they even see. We can help each other and really kind of stop each other from falling into potholes.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, if I can choose a whole bunch of projects to where and we have a relationship, so I don't want to say this and get to the point where I'm like saying, hey, it's all got to be a big corporation. What I'm saying is that we're about the repeat business. We're about that relationship. And with that being said, we have so many great ones, and it's been the key to our success, really. It has.
So can you elaborate a little bit more on being in tune with your team and how that plays a major key factor into your business?
If your company doesn't have kind of the same heartbeat that you do at the top, there's a problem. So you create a culture. One of the things that I tell people all the time that work for Imperial or Empower, Devin, I don't know that you know this yet. We may not have told you, but most people know this. I would say 90% is always do what's right, even when somebody's not looking. And that's probably even the most important time. Do what's right. You think a lot of times that'll never come out, but it always does. At some point in time, everything comes back full circle. Mm-hmm. And so yes, it's about a culture. And I think if you took that one thing that I said right there, that and really and truthfully, the other thing that we hire on, so that's kind of a heart thing, doing what's right. And then we hire very smart people. And it's funny, some people go, well, yeah, but I don't know how to do what you're doing. Well, that doesn't matter. We can teach you how to do it. You just have to have the smarts to be able to grasp it. And then quite frankly, I think in most cases, the people that work here expand on it, mm-hmm. which is really cool for me to see, because I go, well, damn, we used to do it this way, but that's better. So it's cool. And that's that. And then that turns around and creates family, which then I think spurns off why so many companies love working with us, because they feel that we're a large company that has a family feel.
How did the past projects play into your growth and moving on to deciding to have another venture like Impower Connection?
Me and my partners, and I would say probably me first, but my partners all follow right behind me. And then there's all kinds of managers and leaders in this company. We're always looking to expand into areas that make sense. We do really, really well on the construction side. The Empower side, which is the EV charging, is just a small segment of what we do on all of our Imperial projects. So with that being said, it was kind of just a natural fit whenever this is coming about. And I'm a car guy. I love cars. I race cars, and they're kind of probably my passion. So the electric car thing, it was like, okay, well, this is the next step. Mm-hmm. And whenever you see that, it's like, hey, we could be a part of that, and we could be a part of it in a big way. And to me, it was just kind of just a natural fit and a natural evolution into one of our next steps.
So does your passion for race cars affect your decision to pursue electric vehicle charging stations currently today?
I think the evolution of cars and again, I race cars, so I'm kind of excited to see the electrical side come over there. Mm-hmm. At first they were, and some of them are still boxy and this and that, but you see some of the cars coming out right now that are electric, and they're sexy. And I think that's where you turn around and look at like my race cars and stuff. Whenever I look at them, ooh, that's sexy. That's a good looking car. And and so yes, I think all of that whole evolution has of automobiles has got me personally excited about this venture. Mm-hmm. To be a part of it.
What do you see whenever you're envisioning the future of EV?
Oh wow, I think it's a baby step into a crazy new future. Mm-hmm. Because I think, you think about it, we had the horse and carriage, we had the steam cars, then we had the gasoline naturally combusted, then we had propane. I mean, we've got all these different steps. I think maybe the next step before you kind of get into like a hovercraft car, yeah. And you see cars, they don't even go on a road anymore. They travel, maybe 100 foot in the air and go everywhere. I don't know. And so I think that this is probably, I think I could see it being maybe the last step before we take that next step, mm-hmm. Into maybe a hover car or something like that. So, and here's the other thing too, whether you're conservative, or a liberal, in your beliefs, we all have to care about what we do to the planet. Every one of us, and this is smart. I mean, this is smart. Now, is it going to create complications? Absolutely. It's going to create complications because, right now we have to also start looking at the power grid. How's it going to support it? And that's being done. So it's all, like I said, it's an evolution and it's happening, and it's happening rapidly. With that being said, there's going to be some glitches. It's not all going to be perfect, but at the end of the day, it's exciting to be, to me, at the forefront of kind of the next evolution, big change. Mm-hmm. Think about like Henry Ford, whenever he came out with the first, I think actually, believe it or not, the Dodge brothers, which was actually Dodge Automobile. Navy had the first one, I think. I don't know. I'd have to go back, but I'm pretty sure I read that documentary at some point. Mm-hmm. But one of the two, how big a step that was from horse and carriage. Well, I believe this is that kind of that next step, and for us to be a part of that, it gives me goosebumps. What's crazy too is I think really and truthfully we don't recognize too even things like you said there, the rovers and all this stuff, the stuff that NASA does that we eventually get. It's kind of like even like the bed. I don't know if you know, but the Tempur-Pedic bed that most of us sleep on, that a lot of that came from NASA. And so you think about this, and it takes a while for everything to kind of make full circle and then kind of get into the stream of life with all of us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this technology has been around a long time. Mm-hmm. It's just now to the point where I think we're at the infancy stage of being able to get it all out there. And I think it's my belief that with what we're doing and with what the government's doing right this minute in trying to get all these different stations everywhere so that an EV car can really be used in a long travel type situation, because right now it is a little difficult because of stops and having enough gas stations slash electrical stations.
Yeah.
I think that it's cool that they're starting to think through that and putting plans in place today to get that done for tomorrow.
How, as an entrepreneur, you manage all the things you have going on? It's a lot to keep up with. How do you do it?
It's people. It is so important that you surround yourself with great people. If you don't, you will not be successful. I think that goes to personal life, and damn sure in business life. Because I think sometimes in personal life, you have a spouse or family members that kind of know what you're doing. Well, in business, you can kind of get lost, and you can have some rogue people do some bad things. And I think it's very, very important that you put very, very, very good people. And it gets back down to what I said. It's people that have the heart and the mind. If you do that, you will be successful. You also have to have leadership in front of them that can turn around and train them and have all the procedures. And here's the other thing too: as you grow, I remember, like I said, I'm 54 now, unfortunately. But I can remember back whenever I was in my 20s, thinking, "Oh, I could build the world." Well, I think now that I'm 54, I look back and go, "Oh, geez, no, I can't. I couldn't at the time." It's having to go through all those processes, and then turning around and meeting people and learning and putting procedures in place. With all that being said, that's how these companies that I'm involved in operate, and how they operate so well is because of the people and the procedures and everybody's life history.
I know that you've mentioned before that you have to surround yourself with people that have a little bit of gray hair, and that really gets you somewhere. So it takes time to build such a huge brand.
I had a dynamic shift in my way of thinking because the millennials came around, and I'll be honest, Imperial really struggled with retention of the millennials. Mm-hmm. We just had a revolving door. We learned that, quite frankly, they're just wired a little bit different. They had to have more structure in front of them, and to be able to know and to kind of have a roadmap as to, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to do to get to where I want to go, and here's my plan. Since we learned that, and I didn't do it, but I was part of it. But we learned it through the company, and we implemented a lot of things. I think we have like 95% retention. That's crazy now. So, is it important to have the gray hair? Absolutely. But where I find too some of my most excitement is the young people, because these young minds that are coming in that are fresh, thinking. Because again, here you got to realize a lot of the gray ones we're kind of old dogs. So with that being said, we need to learn the new tricks.
Yeah.
And so the new tricks come with that next group of people. And what I've seen is the meshing of all those different people that we have working for us has just been that dynamic thing within the company that has just exploded. It takes both, from the gray hairs to the youngest ones that come on board, and I'm excited about them all.